I'm not sure if you've heard about the recent study that the Cleveland Clinic conducted. It was on long COVID and sleep, and the conclusions will not surprise you. It turns out that long COVID is associated with poor sleep. But it's important to realize that poor sleep is associated with many chronic conditions, including chronic infections like chronic fatigue syndrome and fibromyalgia. So today we're going to look at three long COVID patients and see what they took for sleep. So one of the things is I'm currently making a movie about long COVID. It's going to be called Hope for Chronic Fatigue and Long COVID. And I talk about two of these cases in the movie, but I actually don't talk about specifically what they talk about sleep. So the first person I'll talk to you about is Ray. Ray is an integrative physician, and he's in his 50s, and he's been a poor sleeper his whole life. And his problem is that he wakes up frequently, and he also has mild sleep apnea. For moderate to severe sleep apnea, it's important that you see a physician. So anyway, Ray had mild sleep apnea, poor sleeper most of his life, woke up frequently. And so one thing I want to tell you about, well, first of all, I'll tell you what Ray took, and then I'll tell you that some of the tips that he uses with his clients. So what Ray takes for sleep at the current time and what he took while he had long COVID is liposomal melatonin. So we've all heard of melatonin. Many of us know that it also appears in many forms like gummies, pills, powders, maybe even other supplements, or combination supplements with sleep herbs and melatonin. A liposomal melatonin is something you take orally, but you hold in your mouth so that it absorbs through the mucous membranes. And you typically hold the melatonin in your mouth for 20 or 30 seconds. And so that's what Ray takes, and he finds it very effective. And he uses the liposomal melatonin whenever he wakes up. So if he wakes up 4 times at night, he's taking liposomal melatonin 4 times a night. Now, what does he do for his clients? Oh, and then Ray also tells me, like myself, one of his techniques is if he can't sleep, is he also tries to meditate. Because as a meditation teacher said one time, trying to meditate is a type of meditation. So now let's talk about a little bit about what Ray uses for his clients that have poor sleep. So first of all, one of his master strategies is for some clients, stress herbs before bed work better than sedative herbs. Now, one of the other master strategies, by the way, with sleep remedies is to rotate your sleep remedy because the body can get used to any one sleep remedy. So again, Ray used to take the same formula that Jenny took. Now he takes liposomal melatonin, and at some point he may find that doesn't work as well, and so he may switch it to something else. But bottom line is sometimes he finds stress herbs work better than sleep herbs. Maybe this is because many people before they come to him have already tried sleep herbs and they no longer work. Or some cases, people are addicted to sleep medicines when they come to him, and he has them take stress herbs during the day and maybe the same stress herb at night. So an example of this is 5-hydroxytryptophan or 5-HTP, which is a naturally occurring extract of tryptophan, and an herbal extract of tryptophan. And this is something that people can take during the day as well as at night. And I believe the tryptophan is one of the things that Ray has used for his clients. Ray also does a lot of testing. So unlike my Western medical doctors who don't believe in tests or don't believe in very good tests, Ray does a lot of testing. And so typically he'll test for hormones, for infections, and these can shed light on what people need in terms of insomnia and sleep problems. So he's found that in addition to low melatonin levels, and yes, you can test melatonin levels, he's also found that people with adrenal fatigue also have people who have weak adrenals also have sleep disturbances. So getting at the root cause by addressing these hormonal deficiencies is what cures the long haul insomnia. Uh, Ray's also knows the benefit of sleep apnea treatment. So if a person really does have sleep apnea, they need to be treated that separately from the regular sedative herbs or sedative treatments. Ray has also found that some of his patients with high levels of mold and fungus have sleep problems. And he reports that once you clear up the infection, some of these clients' chronic sleep disorders go away. And then finally, Ray, like many physicians, recommends avoiding alcohol and caffeine if you do have sleep disorders. And the take home message that you can apply yourself if you're addicted to alcohol or caffeine is well, try to use as little as possible and try to avoid alcohol at all if you can, or get it down to one drink a night. Start working towards getting down to one drink a night. Taking it hours before you go to bed is important if you do drink alcohol. And then many people have found that if they avoid caffeine or avoid caffeine after 1 p.m., it helps their sleep quite a bit. So we've talked about what Jenny does for her insomnia. We've talked about what Ray uses for his own insomnia and his clients who have sleep disorders. The last client we'll talk about is Regina, and Regina is somebody I talk about in the movie. Regina's whole life fell apart during the pandemic. Her grandmother died. Her husband had to move away to care for his parents. And lastly, she had a very big rupture with her son. And all of these factors, COVID, interpersonal communications will also mess with your sleep. But then she also lost a business, and that will also mess with your sleep. So Regina in her 50s didn't sleep that well to begin with, but then due to all the stress during the pandemic, her stress went through the roof, and her insomnia also got very bad. And she also eventually contracted long COVID. Now, luckily, Regina has a daughter who's a healer named Sonia, and Sonia recommended SAMe, which is a nutritional supplement. And I've said this before: if I could only have one nutritional supplement for long COVID or chronic fatigue syndrome or fibromyalgia, it would be SAMe, which is a type of methionine. Anyway, so the daughter, who's a healer, recommended melatonin to help her sleep, and also SAMe. And Regina wanted to just use something like sleepy time tea, and Sonia said, "Well, Mom, you could use sleepy time tea. It's just not enough, and I recommend that you use melatonin." And so Regina, even though she was dealing with a lot of stress, bombarded with stress, found the SAMe very helpful to regulate her mood. Because her mood was more regulated, she wasn't as affected by stress. Because she wasn't so affected by stress, it was easier for her to fall asleep. Because of all these factors, she could sleep more soundly. And yes, she found that the melatonin was also useful for helping to prolong the sleep. Instead of waking up every morning at 3:30 or 4 o'clock, she would then wake up at about 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock or 5:30. So if you're a clinician or you have friends or family members that have sleep issues, one of the things I want to counsel you about is not giving up too early. So some people are addicted to sleep medications, and they literally cannot get asleep without an Ambien or another type of medication. And I've known situations where somebody just says, "Here, try these herbs. They work great." And the person goes, "Nah, it's not going to work." And I use Ambien every night, and otherwise I don't fall asleep. And the friend or family member goes, "Yeah, take the natural stuff. It'll work much better." So then they go, "Okay, to help you out, not me, because I know it's not going to work. I'll take the natural sleep stuff." So one night they take the natural sleep stuff, not the Ambien, and they don't sleep at all. And then they call up their friends starting screaming. They go, I didn't sleep at all. What's the big idea? I told you it wasn't going to work. So the bottom line is that if you're really addicted to a sleeping pill, please see a physician. One of the best physicians to see would be an integrative physician, because they have the access to the latest testing and the latest nutrients as well as herbs. So that would be a very good approach if somebody's addicted to a sleeping pill. If they can't see a physician or another health professional for their sleep addiction, they have to go very, very slowly withdrawing from sleep medication. And then they want to be encouraged by the practitioner or friend or family member to don't give up the herbs, too soon, because they are going to take time for them to work. This concludes our podcast for today. If you enjoyed this video and found it helpful, please be sure to like and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this one, and be sure to hit the alert button to be notified of new videos each week. For more information, please visit us at getwellfoundation.org.